Most people quit the moment things get hard. And that right there is exactly why they never become who they were supposed to be. What if I told you that the difference between where you are right now and where you desperately want to be is not talent, not luck, not opportunity, but simply your ability to stay hard longer than everyone else is willing to? Today, we are diving deep into David Goggins and what he calls staying hard, because this is not a motivational speech. This is a survival manual for your mind. Let me hit you with something uncomfortable right out of the gate. Right now, at this very moment, your brain is lying to you. It is telling you that you are tired, that you have done enough, that tomorrow is fine, that you deserve a rest. And here is the terrifying part. Most people believe that voice every single time. They never question it. They just obey it. And years later, they look back at their lives and wonder why nothing ever changed. David Goggins grew up in circumstances that most of us cannot even imagine. An abusive household, poverty, a childhood stripped of any real foundation. He was overweight, he could barely read, and he was working a dead-end job spraying for cockroaches, making roughly $1,000 a month. And in that darkness, in that absolute rock-bottom place, he made a decision. Not a decision powered by motivation or passion or some big, inspiring moment. He made a cold, calculated, brutal decision to become someone completely different. Here is what most people get wrong about that story. They hear it, and they think Goggins is some kind of genetic freak, some outlier born with extraordinary willpower. And that label is actually dangerous because the moment you call someone special, you give yourself permission to quit. You tell yourself it is not possible for a regular person, but that is the lie. Goggins was about as regular as it gets in terms of his starting point. What separated him was something else entirely. So what is staying hard and why does it matter so much? It comes down to this central idea. Your mind will always seek the path of least resistance. Always. The brain is wired for survival, for conservation of energy, for comfort. Every single morning when the alarm goes off at some ungodly hour, every time a workout gets brutal, every time a study session gets confusing and frustrating, your brain throws up a stop sign. And staying hard means driving straight through that stop sign without slowing down. But here is where it gets really interesting. Goggins talks about something called the new norm. And this concept is one of the most powerful psychological tools any human being can apply to their life. The idea is devastatingly simple. Whatever environment you place yourself in repeatedly, your mind begins to accept as normal operating conditions. If you subject yourself to difficulty over and over again, your brain stops treating difficulty as a crisis. It starts treating it as just another Tuesday. Think about that for a second. The same discomfort that makes most people quit, the exhaustion, the pain, the confusion, the grind, becomes just standard background noise for someone who has trained their mind to accept it as home. Goggins did this deliberately. He pushed himself into suffering repeatedly, not because he enjoyed it, but because he understood that the mind adapts to whatever you feed it. Now here's where most people stumble when they try to apply this. They think staying hard means being aggressive and fired up all the time. They think it requires some constant surge of motivation and passion. But Goggins himself dismisses the idea of motivation almost entirely. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings come and go. One morning you feel unstoppable, and the next morning you feel like a complete disaster. Feelings cannot be the engine. The engine has to be something deeper. He calls it going down to the mineral soil. Think about a wildfire burning across a landscape. It can destroy everything on the surface, but it cannot burn the actual dirt beneath. That mineral soil underneath everything is where your real power lives. And the only way to access it is to go through enough suffering that all the surface stuff burns away. The ego, the excuses, the comfort-seeking, all of it burns off, and what is left is something no outside force can touch. This is why self-talk alone does not work for most people. Goggins is very direct about this. You cannot just stand in front of a mirror and repeat positive affirmations and expect your mind to suddenly cooperate. That kind of self-talk is empty unless it is backed by real evidence. Unless you have actually done hard things. Unless you have a personal record of showing up when every part of you wanted to stop. He calls it the cookie jar, reaching back into your memory for proof of what you have already survived and accomplished, and using that real evidence to fuel the next impossible moment, let us talk about the 40% rule, because this changes everything once you truly understand it. When your mind tells you that you are done, that you have given everything you have, that you simply cannot continue, you are actually sitting at approximately 40% of your real capacity. Your brain is hitting the alarm system long before your body or your potential is genuinely exhausted. The discomfort you feel is a warning, not a wall. And the people who build legendary lives are the ones who learn to recognize that signal and push through it deliberately. This is not about being reckless or ignoring genuine injury. It is about understanding that the ceiling you have placed on yourself is almost certainly artificial. You have accepted a version of yourself that is dramatically smaller than what you are actually capable of producing. And every time you stop at 40%, you are reinforcing that smaller version of yourself, making it harder to break through the next time. Now the question becomes practical. How do you actually build this? How do you start staying hard when you have spent years training yourself to stop at the first sign of resistance? Start by closing off your exit routes. Goggins talks about giving yourself no way out, and this is a tactical decision, not just a mindset. When you leave yourself an escape hatch, some part of your brain always knows it is there. You structure situations where quitting is more uncomfortable than continuing. You make commitments publicly. You put stakes on the table. You remove the option to retreat before the battle even starts. Next, you have to get radically honest with yourself. Not the comfortable kind of honesty where you acknowledge your flaws in a vague, general way and then forgive yourself immediately. The raw, mirror-level honesty where you look at exactly who you are today and call it exactly what it is. If you are not where you want to be, you have to acknowledge the precise reason why without softening it, without blame shifting, without explaining it away with circumstances. And then there is the matter of time. In a world where everything moves at breakneck speed, where every app promises instant results and every course promises to change your life in 30 days, patience has become a genuinely rare superpower. The process requires going back again and again and again. Not once, not twice, but until the thing that currently breaks you simply cannot break you anymore. Here is the truth that most people are not ready to hear. You already know how to do this. You know exactly what you need to change. You know what habits are holding you back. You know which mornings you need to get up earlier. You know which excuses you keep recycling. The information is not the problem. The willingness to execute that information when your brain is screaming at you to stop, that is the entire game. So the next time you are standing at the edge of your comfort zone, the next time that voice in your head tells you that you have done enough, that you deserve a break, that it is okay to stop right here, remember this. Staying hard is not something you feel your way into. It is something you decide. Over and over, every single day. In the moments that nobody sees. In the quiet battles that never make the highlight reel. That is where the real version of you gets built. You have not even come close to your actual ceiling yet. And the only way to find out where that ceiling really is to keep going long after everything in you wants to stop. Stay hard.